Man, I don't know why I'm feeling nervous right now. All right, let's go. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go, the first stream since the World Cup ended and we saw Argentina win the World Cup and Lionel Messi lift that beautiful trophy. I'm your co-host Reynoso, joined by my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
And today's special guest, a man that once came onto this show, defended his country, defended his team, went through so much in the following months, went through hell supporting his team, fought and backed them no matter what, and now sits at this table joining us to just bathe in glory.
Yeah.
To just enjoy himself and have himself a hell of a pod. Agustin from Debatable Football Opinions, baby.
Thank you, guys.
He has joined the pod once again.
Thank you for having me, bro. I've been here before, during, and after the World Cup, and
wow.
I love being here. Thank you for having me.
Where is the
jersey?
Argentina jersey? And we're about to get to that, folks. We're about to get to that because I want to recap the journey that the Give and Go, that Agustin, Argentina fans, Argentina haters have all been on in this path to Messi lifting up the trophy. Started seeing a little bit of a hot take forming in the chambers of Soltero's mind with Argentina being a team that he didn't truly respect. And I want to go from here now to a video that producer Russ prepared for us that really recaps this journey and what we went through and what we saw happen.
I feel like Argentina's good. Yeah, they're going to make it to the knockout stages. Probably quarters. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to wimp out at quarters. They're going to get pummeled 2-0, and Messi's just going to go home.
I do not see this team lifting the trophy, and one of my biggest criticisms, they're just not facing the best competition. I said the same thing about Brazil. I cannot forgive the competition of CONMEBOL for not testing Argentina or Brazil enough. And for that reason, I cannot say that Argentina is going to lift this trophy.
If Brazil or Argentina or any South American team wins it, how does that shift your mentality going into future World Cups?
I'm going to be completely honest, haven't even thought about it because I'm that certain that they won't lift it. I haven't even thought about it.
If it does happen, I'm coming back on the pod. I'm giving you an Argentina jersey that you're gonna have to wear. You're gonna have to shave your head. And I deserve a public apology. Oh, him too. Yeah.
I will apologize publicly. I will go to Argentina. I will kiss the ground. Yeah. I will do whatever it takes. I will apologize.
Okay. What happened today?
Today was the test, and they passed. Argentina are in the top 4. And that cannot be taken away. Congratulations to Argentina. I thought today was Argentina's best performance as a whole over the course of 90 minutes in one singular game at this year's World Cup. Like 10 shoots we ever do just in general, I'll wear an Argentina jersey and I'll also go kiss the soil in Buenos Aires.
You think so?
That's what I'm gonna do.
You're being serious right now.
I'm being 100% serious.
Being serious. So the jersey, 10 shoots in a row.
10 shoots in a row.
10 shoots
you
in a
will
row.
only catch me in an Argentina jersey.
Okay. You promised to go to Buenos Aires
within the next year. Right. Expect like an Instagram picture of me on my knees kissing the soil.
That's big.
In Argentina.
That's
within
big,
the next year.
We'll have a shaman, an Argentine shaman,
right,
bringing you to the most precious and freshest soil in Argentina, and you'll kiss the fucking ground.
Kiss the
Get
ground.
on your knees and kiss the
We'll
fucking
get a
ground.
beautiful photo of it. I will give my apologies.
That was a beautiful.
All right.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a beautiful recap there where we talked about everything that had to do with Argentina. And I guess just right off the bat, how do you feel watching that? How do you feel?
I mean, my stance hasn't really changed, I think, since Argentina beat the Netherlands. At that point, that's when it really turned for me where I said, okay, Argentina can go on to lift the trophy, and that's exactly what they did. We can talk about that game maybe, or the final maybe a little bit more in depth, but in general, I conceded at that point. After that penalty shootout against the Netherlands, I said, look, they're in the top 4. Nothing can be said now. They are one of the best teams in the world, and they solidified that by actually winning the whole goddamn cup.
No, and I agree. I respect the way you went about it. Once you realized you were wrong, you admitted to it, and not just that, you began supporting the team that you criticized so heavily. So I applaud you for that, for standing tall in the midst of so much criticism and so much hate. But as mentioned last time Agustin was on here, the take does come with some consequences.
It does.
We've got a score to settle. And the first thing that has to be settled is that fucking Argentina jersey that Agustin himself has brought to you to give as a gift. And I'll hand it over to him for him to present.
By the way, I want to mention, you can keep this.
Oh, wait, for real?
Yeah, it's for you.
Oh, shit. Okay. I'll keep it.
We wrapped it up because we wanted a little bit of suspense.
Fuck.
Wrapped it up by yours truly.
Oh, fuck.
And whenever you open it, I want you to show the people in your camera the front and the back.
Okay.
If you would, please.
Which one should I do first?
Whichever.
Whatever you like. We got a beautiful,
this is good.
Beautiful jersey. Show this camera right here.
Oh,
right
shit,
here.
my bad.
Beautiful.
Please turn it around.
Yeah. Right, see this? All right.
Let's see the back.
Caption this.
What an image, man. What an image. It's actually beautiful. It's really great quality. Shout out DH Gabe for coming through Agustin with the order. And go ahead. He's going to put that jersey on. And as the punishment stated, we're starting count now. 10 shoots in a row. This is shoot number 1. Soltero will be wearing the Argentina jersey. I think a round of applause is merited for this incredible gift, man. This incredible gift. Yeah. Hey, it looks good on you too, man. Hey, chill, man.
Argentina!
Relax, bro. You're going too far with it. No,
hey, bro.
That's great.
Kiss the badge.
Kiss the badge, and he kissed the badge, man. He kissed the badge. What a gift, man. The jersey looks great on you. God, what a moment, man. We waited for this for a long time. And let's get a handshake right here.
Yeah.
Handshake. I'm not saying a goddamn word for the rest of this episode. Have fun, boys.
And I want to hear all of it, man. I want to hear about your experience. I want to hear about how you feel, everything you went through, and just what that feeling is like, because I do dream of one day experiencing that feeling as well, my friend.
All right. So the first thing I got to say, big shout out to my previous job for giving me an entire month off, because I was able to go on vacation. I went to Miami, where there's a big population of Argentinian people. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah. So I made it to Miami one day before the Netherlands game. So the entire vacation, we were going to be there until the very final, after the final, the entire vacation was dedicated to watching the World Cup. So the entire vacation could have been ruined if we lost to Netherlands. 14 days of fucking depression in Miami.
Right.
I wouldn't have gone out. I wouldn't have gone to the beach and nothing. And we made it to Miami one day before the game against Netherlands. That game was fucking unbelievable.
My God. One of the greatest World Cup games I've ever seen, entertainment-wise, dude.
But once we beat Netherlands, like you brought up, like once we were in that Final Four, I just kind of knew, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And then we went on. I don't know if y'all want to break down a little bit each game, but
I think for the Netherlands one, I think seeing how Messi played that game, dude, I was like, oh, dude, they can beat anybody. It doesn't care how good France is. It doesn't care how good Croatia is. Messi showed me that specific game that, like, he's going to be astronomically good, and there was no doubt in my mind they would continue at that level.
Yeah. Okay. This is one thing that we brought up whenever I was here after the Mexico game. I brought up that I believe that Argentina could grow after that Saudi Arabia loss. And then beating Mexico, I thought that Argentina could grow with each game. And you, Soltero, brought up that Netherlands game that we played was the best, at that point, the best game that Argentina had played. Yeah. What happened afterwards, they played against Croatia, an even better game. And one could debate that after that, they played against France, an even better game. So this is a nation that grew as the tournament went on. And that Saudi Arabia loss, by the way, helped out a lot. It was a reality check, and we just grew from literally zero. We could have been knocked out of the World Cup in group stage, and we just grew from there. And rest is history.
Yeah, I was telling Soltero, I was like, I wonder if that loss to Saudi Arabia, if that was almost necessary to be able to kind of get that streak out of the way, forget about that, because a lot of pressure was building up with the whole 36, 37 games in a row and beating absolutely demoralized themselves after that first game. And it's almost like it took the pressure off because the expectations dropped. I mean, we were talking shit about how Argentina was not looking like they're going to win the World Cup after that game. and in a way that helped him.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway was definitely how Argentina were able to truly grow game by game in the tournament. But what really surprised me, and just something that I did not even expect. So, for example, like I expected Messi to have a really good tournament.
Right.
I expected other players to kind of really show up, especially the fullbacks. Dibu Martinez were having really good seasons going into the tournament. So I expected all of that. What I really did not expect was like the coaching tactical genius of Lionel Scaloni. Truly. So much so that I think I can confidently say he's probably the best national team South American coach I personally have ever witnessed. I'm talking about Copa Americas, all the World Cups. I'm talking about like Colombian coaches, Chile coaches, Brazil coaches, and then Argentine coaches themselves. Because I was thinking about it going back like 2010, what? You had Maradona. Right. Not a tactician whatsoever, just more of like a role model like to look up to, which is great to have. But not necessarily someone you can count on to make big decisions in big games.
Right.
And then in 2014, you had Alejandro Sabella, RIP. But I questioned. I thought he was a little bit too pragmatic. I thought he wanted to be a little bit more like well-rounded in the midfield and defense and kind of just let Messi take over the offense. Yeah. And I did not like his substitutions either, especially in that final, man. Especially in that final against Germany. And then in 2018, you had Sampaoli. That was a fucking mess.
Yeah, skip that one.
That was a desperation move. Sampaoli was doing horribly in Sevilla, and they're just like, fuck, we don't have a coach. Let's get Sampaoli. And that was a really bad move. But then getting Scaloni, and I don't think he was set to be the actual coach. It just worked out. I think he was interim for a little bit, and then he ended up just being the coach.
So he was the Argentina under-20 manager, and I think he coached 1 or 2 games, and they straight up put him with the main national team.
Yeah. And since then, I was still doubtful because I was like, he hasn't really had any coaching experience outside of youth level or assistant level as well. But for the moves that he made in this World Cup, I think will go down as just the most tactically sound and ultimately really good decisions made by any South American manager at a World Cup, man. I mean, the moves that he made, that interesting rotation with Lisandro, El Cuti Romero, and Otamendi was bizarre, but it never not worked. Every time he rotated one out, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And it ended up working brilliantly. And then the idea to bench Di Maria for a little bit after he got a little injured and then to start him in the final. How good did Di Maria play in that fucking final? That was ridiculous. It paid off so well. And then the 2 midfield inclusions, McAllister and Enzo Fernandez. I mean, there's nothing else to say, man.
He didn't start Enzo in the Saudi Arabia game.
Prior to
it was just great. Like he realized, oh shit, I fucked up. Yeah, and right away fixed it.
Fixed it. And that, so there were so many moments throughout this entire tournament that just point to Scaloni, one of the best coaches in all of international football.
Not only is he a great fucking tactician, he's actually a really good man-to-player manager. Where also, like, if a player is given a chance, like a young player or a player who hasn't been given that many chances in the past, like McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, and they perform in that one game, a lot of coaches take it slow and they're like, okay, you did great, but let's kind of slow it down. You'll also play it this other time. But no. Scaloni will put you in the starting lineup. You did great. Here's another chance. Keep it up. And then that's kind of how players get that form. That's how you saw McAllister and Enzo just join this Argentina midfield. Like they've been playing there for years. And Scaloni just trusts so many of their players and gives them the chances that they deserve, and it pays off.
Yeah, that is truly special. What got me though was you see his reaction when they won the World Cup.
Scaloni's, yes,
bizarre.
Yes,
I don't think I've ever seen a head coach in any sport celebrate the way he did, if you even call it celebrating. Bro, he was stone cold. He was serious. He was just like...
I loved it. It gives me goosebumps. I've watched that video. I know the video you're talking about. It gives me goosebumps every time because Montiel scores his penalty. He doesn't react, right? A lot of people go up to him to congratulate him, whatever. He goes to sit down, takes a sip of water, whatever. So cold. And then it breaks down. All at once. It hits him like this. It was insane.
I've never seen something like that. It really did surprise me. I was like,
if you have not watched that video, you have to.
Yeah, you have to look it up.
Yeah.
Dude, you could really milk this feeling for years. Literal years. And I'm truly jealous. Because I remember I thought about Costa Rica making that quarterfinal in 2014 for like 3 years after, and they didn't even get to the fucking semifinals. Right. So for you to actually experience your team go all the way and then go through 2 insane penalty shootouts and come out victorious on both times, I mean, like, seriously, man. Like, are you okay? Like, are you
okay? Maybe I'm gonna say this 'cause, like I'm a prisoner of the moment type thing, but I could not give a rat's ass what happens ever in anything football related for the next 20, 30 years. Like,
Yeah.
what else do I need, you know? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm going to stay tuned to everything. I'm going to keep supporting both my club and Argentina. You know, Copa Americas, we got more World Cups coming up. But, like, we lose, okay, big fucking deal. We won in the best way possible, because I do believe that other than just winning the World Cup, it's also winning the World Cup in the best fashion possible with, like you said, the penalties,
Drama.
Messi,
And then
lifting
Messi.
Style,
it,
too.
Like, no, the
Messi
World Cup
lifting it.
victory is going to top it, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
in 50 years, whatever Argentina team wins, like,
That's just
it'll be
another
great.
one.
But,
Yeah.
bro, they don't have Messi. Like, the
Exactly.
story of Messi
Yeah.
was something that,
And
even
it-
if you're not
yeah.
Argentinian, it still resonates with you.
And what can top that final?
Yeah.
That final.
That
final
final
was fucking
Yeah,
crazy,
one of the
man.
greatest finals, if not the greatest final
Yeah.
I've ever seen, man.
I have been watching a little bit of club football, but my heart's not in it. You know what I'm thinking? My heart's in Copa America 2024. Because if
Ooh.
Argentina can win a Copa America, a Finalissima, a World Cup, and then a Copa
Another
America,
Copa, yeah.
Damn,
where does that put us? That
Yeah.
legacy.
I had not thought about that, man. I really haven't, because people talk about Spain 2010 winning the Euros in 2008 and then in 2012. This would have to put them up there as well.
Yeah, because it's basically the
Oh,
equivalent, the South America equivalent. But we also put a Finalissima as the cherry on top, and we also have that unbeaten streak of 36, I think it was, which is higher than Spain had. I think Spain might have had like maybe 30, 31.
Is Messi for sure going to stick with the national team until then? Do you know?
So he said he wants
Have you
to
talked
play.
to him?
He he texted me the other day that he wants to keep playing as a World Cup champion. It would have a little part of me thinks that it would have been nice to just call it, just retire now as a World Cup champion. But it will be nice to see him play as a World Cup champion.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Actually
that
will
Copa
be
And like a
America-
competitive
yeah.
game,
Yeah,
not some
yeah.
friendly or some
Exactly.
exhibition
Yeah.
game.
Plus, like Copa America is like right around the corner. So,
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a year and a half away.
Year and a half away.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That you bring up a really good point, because I think going into that tournament, at least now, I'm gonna have very high expectations of Argentina, like very, very high. That first half against France, I don't think I've ever seen a team play that well in a knockout game. Seriously,
Ooh,
man.
okay.
That
Okay.
Argentina,
80 minutes.
yeah,
maybe
80 minutes. You're right, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Germany, Brazil.
Yeah. Okay.
Germany when they killed, when they
Brazil was. They were
think
wide
that's more
open.
Okay,
Brazil.
okay, you're talking about quality of opponent. now.
Wide
Yeah,
open.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, like especially like we've talked about this before. The idea that finals are so gritty,
Yes.
they're so cagey because you just don't want to make a mistake. And both France and Argentina, you could tell, didn't want to make a mistake, but the fluidity that Argentina played with and the aggression they played when they didn't have the ball, I have never seen a team play like that. Not with that type of execution.
No. And I've said this before the game. I was telling myself, you know why I think that happened, the 80 minutes that we controlled? I think it's because at the end of the day, it came to who wanted to win that World Cup more.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Because when you look at level, they're both pretty like equal. And you could even debate that France individually has a better squad.
Yeah.
But I think there's no country out there, no team out there that wanted the World Cup more as a country and individually to help Messi win the World Cup. You know?
Yeah.
Shit.
And
That's a low-key a little hit at Brazil. And I'm glad.
I'm gonna be that guy for a second. We're doing a lot of rightful Argentina praise, but France was a penalty shootout away from winning again.
Oh, I have a take about that
Yeah.
too.
Then let's get into that.
Yeah.
All
And just to clear this up though, the first point that you made starting this little conversation, if Argentina do go to the final in Copa America and actually win it, lift it once again, then yeah, this has to be arguably one of the best international teams just ever. Rivaling, the Germany little dynasty they had for a while,
More than
the
Germany,
Spanish
yeah.
dynasty. I'd say more
Maybe
than Germany
Spain-
for sure.
Spain level, yeah.
And
like
low key,
Brazil.
how good France is, or like
like-
how those iconic Brazilian teams
Yes.
were back then. I think Argentina will have to be in that exact same conversation if they're not already close to being there.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah. You know what's beautiful about this? That it could happen because a lot of times whenever a country wins a World Cup, it's because it's their golden generation. They're really old experience. Look at this Argentina squad. Enzo Fernandez is 21.
Yeah.
McAllister, possibly one of the best players in the World Cup, at least for Argentina. 24. He just turned 24.
Yeah.
They've got so many great players out there that are in the mid-20s, if not young 20s.
Yeah, dude,
It's insane.
Alvarez, fucking Julian Alvarez.
We've
He's
got
gonna
striker
be
for a decade.
You have a good one of
Yeah.
probably the best number 9s right now
Exactly.
for a decade, and
Yeah.
he's only going to get a little bit better too because he still has a lot to learn, and he's got Pep and Holland right there teaching him.
Guardiola? Jesus.
Yes,
It's ridiculous.
Yes. I wonder what a Messi-less Argentina team looks like. I've never seen a team without Messi, honestly.
That's been a concern for
What
a
does that
lot of
look like,
Argentinian
bro?
people.
And I do think when it comes to winning tournaments, you need to have a difference maker of super high quality. And you've always had Messi for that. Who's Argentina? Who's going to be the next guy that will become? Will it be Julian Alvarez? Will he become like almost to that pedigree of Messi that can win them big games? We'll see.
Yeah, like where he scores every time he's on the pitch.
Yeah,
like he gets to that type of efficiency and lethalness.
Yeah,
yeah.
That'd
be
obviously
big.
no one has a Messi, but they have close to it. Like Brazil has an Neymar.
Yeah.
France has an Mbappe. Who does Argentina have for that when Messi leaves will ultimately step up? There's a lot of good candidates. There's a lot of potential nominees. But I think that'll be a fun like kind of storyline to follow for the following years to see who steps up. If you think about it, Soltero was a penalty shootout from being correct on his pick. And I do think that has to be pointed out how close Argentina did come to essentially collapsing, man. Despite them playing absolutely beautiful football and being rewarded or being deserving of the World Cup at the end of the day, they still fiddled with potentially losing that and dealing with tragedy. I want to hear two things: your emotions when all that happened, but also your thoughts on that overall and how you feel about how close you got.
Yeah, and that's why I was actually pretty comfortable in conceding the fact that Argentina could lift the World Cup after beating the Netherlands, because that game proved to me that the margins are paper thin at the World Cup. Paper thin. Again, even that one, they had to win in a penalty shootout and a game that they were up 2-0 and a crazy equalizer from the Netherlands to take it into extra time and eventually into penalties. It was absolutely ridiculous. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, if you have a player like Messi, then he can take you anywhere. And you can go as far as he specifically wants to go, because Messi for me was the man of the match for Argentina in every single game. And that's considering that they still had players like McAllister, Fernandez, and Alvarez just playing out of their fucking minds. But Messi still played above them, which is ridiculous considering his age, everything that he's been through, all of the pressure. And that's why for me, he is the definitive GOAT. But honestly, I wasn't that far off. I really wasn't.
You were.
I really wasn't. If Messi's not on that pitch, I don't even think they get to semis. I really don't think so.
I can agree with that.
But then that's the thing, though. I should have taken the account that Messi is Messi, the GOAT. But he wasn't my definitive GOAT going into this tournament, but he is absolutely now. And then not only that, take away that Messi thing, I had a criticism for Otamendi, for example, and he bit so hard on that Kylian Mbappe over the head, that little pass from Colomwani that took him over Otamendi and straight to Mbappe's feet with a beautiful finish. But Otamendi bit so hard when he didn't need to, because they were still 25 yards out. They didn't need to put that much pressure, and then it completely opened up for Mbappe, and then you know what happened after that. And then if France go on to win that game, I easily could have just been like, Otamendi is, not the defender that Argentina needed in the big moment. But that's how tiny the margins are. Man. I was just on the other side. So at the end of the day, honestly, I think my takes were, they came from like a good place. Yeah. It came with good intention. And in my opinion, pretty good analysis, because from what happened throughout Argentina throughout this entire tournament was pure growth. And that's something I'll never take away from them. But they're still a little bit mistake-ridden for sure. But then again, it's the World fucking Cup, and literally anything can happen. Especially in this edition, that confirmed it for me, man. Yeah, because
this one was
nuts.
Especially this one, man. Especially this one. And we talked about it before, but that Saudi Arabia game, them beating them in the opener when Argentina went on a crazy unbeaten run, man. Like, what the hell was that? Like, honestly,
it's a fever dream, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
like, did it even happen? Yeah. It makes no sense. But at the end of the day, what is fact is Argentina did win it, and I was wrong. I was wrong on my pick. So factually, I did get it wrong, and I will always concede that. I'll trust me, I'll be respectful.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I will be respectful.
Of course. And that's the fun in it. But also, dude, we didn't mention a Colomwani opportunity that forced one of the greatest saves of all time.
Yeah. I have that picture printed out. As soon as he said it, I promise I have it.
You have to.
I'd pray to it every day if I were you, bro.
Yeah.
My heart dropped. I swear.
Dude.
I saw, whenever people say whenever you see your whole life flash before your eyes. I saw everything that Messi and this Argentina team has gone through in the last 10 years. I promise I saw it all when the ball was going down, when he shot it. And I like, this sounds like I'm making it up. I promise I saw everything. My heart dropped right here to my stomach. And then Dibu. I've already talked about this somewhere else, but the most important save in football history in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
No, football history,
Yeah.
man.
Just because of the legacy. Not just winning the World Cup, but winning it for Messi as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
no,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
There's so much
Because
on
the
the
only
line
thing
there.
that can compare, first of all, nothing club football can compare because club football is one thing, World Cup is another, right? So what other thing can compare? Casillas' save against,
Right?
against
I think
Robin.
that's the only other one.
Okay, that's a good one.
There's the Buffon's. I think he saved a really good save in 2006.
2006.
Yeah, but it's like, but none of them were at the 123rd minute.
Yeah, man. No,
in
seriously.
a goal that could have given them the cup.
Yeah.
And it was a good shot, bro.
Yeah,
it was
it
a
was
good
bad.
shot.
Yeah,
There's a lot
it
of
wasn't
pace
bad.
behind it.
Yeah.
Ah, God, man.
Yeah.
It hasn't settled. Like it hasn't. I can't believe I'm here talking about Argentina winning the World Cup and Messi actually lifting the World Cup. It's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it the day of. I didn't believe it the night of. Whenever we celebrated for hours, because we were celebrating till the very morning.
Yeah.
The next day. Now that I'm here, it's been a whole month actually since Argentina won, and it hasn't settled. Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm talking because I have to, but like, like I can't, and I've had time to think about it. Like Argentina are world champions, Messi's the world champion. And
You've been
it
waking up
hasn't
happy
settled.
and shit?
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
my life is insanely happy right now. It's everything's great. I don't have any like any problems that you could have. It's like tiny stuff, like everyday problems that ruin your day in the beginning of the day.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
"Fuck, I don't care. Like whatever, I'll deal with it. It's insane.
Oh my
My
God,
girlfriend catches
dude.
me in a good mood. And
Always.
she's wondering why. And it's like,
Yeah.
Always,
you
man.
know?
Always.
I think it's going to be one of those things where it'll be like 20 years from now. Argentina's going through like a low phase, but then you can just pull up your
Yeah.
phone and look at 2022 and just have a fucking smile on your face, because not only did you witness it, but you're a huge part of it, especially with your your Instagram and all of your channel and all what you do with football. So you were so into it that it'll just be, it's like a part of you now.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to think about it. It just is in you.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then that's something I hope I experience.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
once in my life. Maybe.
What team winning would give you that? Costa Rica, USA, Mexico, any CONCACAF team?
I think I'd say
Or
any
does that-
CONCACAF team. Any
Yeah.
CONCACAF team would for sure give me something like that.
Yeah, for me, it'd definitely be Mexico. Definitely. We're going to be looking at just the most notable things happening in world football right now. Little anecdotes, little titles. And if you want, you can react and tell me what you think about them. And if not, we can just move on to the next one. And we're going to stay in the international realm with a new hiring.
Yeah.
Fernando Santos getting sacked from Portugal and now being replaced by Roberto Martinez, the failed coach at Belgium, is now being handed the keys to one of Portugal's deepest generations.
Yeah, it's a weird signing when you say those exact words, because Martinez failed, man.
Yeah.
He had the best Belgian squad ever, and by a large margin too, because, dude, from like 2014 to 2018, Belgium just looked stacked. And everyone always said Belgium's going deep in this tournament. Belgium's going to the final in the Euros. They're going to go to the final in the World Cup. And they did get somewhat far on a couple of occasions, but they just could never make it to that final step. And the thing is, I think Martinez overstayed his welcome. I think it was super apparent in this last World Cup, because Belgium literally did not give a fuck in the group stage. And for Portugal, after what they just kind of went through with a disappointing World Cup, for them to go with Martinez, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty bizarre. Yes, he does have the pedigree to coach big names, but has it worked? Has it realistically worked? I'm going to be a little harsh here and say no. Is it a step up maybe from Santos? Possibly. You could definitely argue that. But even then, Portugal low-key are like the same thing. Quarterfinal, semifinal type of team. Yes, they did win it in 2016, which was low-key a robbery against France, but they did deserve it. But other than that, man, Portugal have consistently disappointed. And so I don't know if Martinez is going to change that. I'm curious to see how he approaches this, though.
Yeah.
Because he's still got Ronaldo kind of lurking. I wonder if he's going to talk to him, bring him back. Honestly, I don't even know what the move would be if I was coach. I don't even know if I'd look at Ronaldo.
I know Roberto Martinez has already said in interviews that he's like, hey, it's me in the background. That he's like he plans to kind of respect Ronaldo better than how Santos respected him or disrespected him in
But
that
I wonder what
sense.
that means, because you're going to have a player 38, 30, going into this Euros, I think he's going to be 39. A player that will be 2 years in playing Saudi Arabian football. And
Yeah,
you have so many other young talents out there that you can play.
it feels like a politician being like just being selected to be the new president, being like, hey, I'm gonna free college students of all debt. Like just kind of saying things that will win people over, despite them not being the smartest moves to make. To me, it sounded like he was a little out of tune with the team for him to just be so pro Ronaldo right off the back, man. So
just telling them what they want to hear.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm seeing. That's classic
like.
Roberto Martinez. I feel like he's just a politician at this day. At the end of the day, wise another big move in both the international and club stage is the retirement of Real Madrid legend, and you could also say Tottenham legend, Gareth Bale. He has laced up his boots or hung up his boots and decided to leave the game. After an incredible career, I believe at the age of 33 years old now.
33.
Lastly, playing for LAFC as well as representing Wales on the World Cup stage. I guess his last match officially was that, 3-0 loss against England in the group stage then.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But at the club level, goes out an absolute champion, winning the MLS trophy with LAFC and scoring the game-tying goal.
I think for the first time in history, right? Maybe
for LAFC.
LFC? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
So at the club level, he goes out as an absolute hero. Yeah. And same at the international level, taking Wales to their first World Cup in like 60 plus years. Yeah. Gareth Bale has been incredible, an incredible British player that has had a hell of a legacy, a very controversial one, I would say, with how it's often debated what his impact was like at the Real Madrid stage. A lot of people expected more from him. He was very injury prone, but when he did play, and especially in those finals, he was ridiculous, man. Iconic. And some of those goals he scored were incredible. I remember the one he scored against Barcelona where he ran on the fucking touchline, ran around Marco, the defender, I can't remember his name.
Bartra.
Bartra. That run was insane, just showcasing his speed, his ability to just get past the player and deciding in that moment, I'm going to get a fucking goal in this final. And that he did, man. That he did. An absolute banger. The one I try to forget a lot is the fucking Chilena he scored against my beautiful Liverpool in a Champions League final. A Liverpool team that was so hot in that tournament. Got their hopes and dreams shut down by Gareth Bale that day and ended up scoring a brace in that match. So overall, what a player, what a legacy.
I'm going to be a little bit of a party killer right here. Yes, thank you, Gareth. Beautiful moments. When you look at his career on paper, everything he accomplished, even his highlights, his goals, his everything, amazing, right? But there's something out there that he finished his career at 33, and you always knew that he could have given more. I feel like he had everything within him to be the third best player of this generation. If you really wanted to, he had it.
Oh, wow. Like Neymar.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Neymar level. He could have.
Oh.
Yeah, when you look at the trajectory when he left Tottenham, he was headed towards being like a Neymar, being the best player of his generation, probably right behind Messi and Neymar. It could have been Bale. And obviously he was a part of that big three, Benzema, Bale, and Cristiano at Real Madrid, who did win, so many Champions Leagues, and he was so good in those big games. But yes, I remember watching Madrid during all of Bale's career, and at just not the big games, just regular La Liga games, or even just decent Champions League games. He just kind of was there. And he would attack and he'd dazzle, but I always felt, I agree, he could do so much more. And he kind of made up for it by showing up in so many finals, and then obviously taking Wales to a crazy 2016 Euro run, and then finally taking to the World Cup after 60 years. So that definitely does help. But I agree, Bale could have been something else, man. But yeah, like,
damn, y'all are convincing me, man. Holy shit!
It's just because I don't know if he lost. I don't know what he lost when he went from Britain, or I guess England, to Spain. But something left him.
I think that he lost a little bit of love for the sport because of how mistreated he was by the Madrid fans. Because he wasn't exactly performing. He got booed, and that's something that he maybe wasn't used to in England.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing started with Wales, golf, Madrid, in that order.
Could you say though that maybe the prowess of a character like Ronaldo, in a way, kind of brought him down, and contrary to how Neymar being alongside like a Messi lifted him up, and he kind of utilized that to become a better player. I wonder if Bale would have become a better player if he was never paired with Ronaldo. If during those prime years he had just the stage for himself. I wonder if that played a psychological role, because I've seen clips of him kind of not complain but be surprised by the fact that Real Madrid fans were booing him at times
Yeah.
for his performances. And he was just like shocked by it because he was like, damn, I've always been used to the people that support the club supporting me.
Yeah.
But it kind of represents, I guess, a slightly faulty psychological factor that he had that didn't let him rise
Right.
to the ranks of Messi or
Yeah.
Ronaldo. Perhaps.
A lot of players, whenever they get booed, they perform better. Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Bale maybe wasn't used to that kind of thing, that kind of treatment, and it only made him play worse. And he admits to that. I actually posted that clip, so maybe
was
that's how
one-
you
yeah.
got it. Yeah. So I posted it today, and yeah, so he admits to like, obviously that gets to you. We're footballers were people after all. That got to him, and I think he lost the love for the sport eventually. I mean, he ended up in MLS at age 32.
Yeah.
Modric just 38, still at the
Right.
very top.
Still at the
For
top.
example.
Yeah,
And,
that definitely does have to do with passion and love
yeah,
for the sport.
yeah. I think
for
he
sure.
lost the passion. And he's 33. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, he was a Galactico. When Madrid bought him, it was because he was one of the best forwards, or
100
I guess
million.
wingers,
Yeah.
just in Europe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and again, the contributions that he ultimately gave them, I think, does make him a little underrated because he does get a lot of hate. But at the end of the day, well, one other thing that really did get me though is, and this also might be down to genetics too, because
Oh shit! What we talking
Bale, like there's a moment where Bale kind of got a little bit bigger, because at Tottenham, dude, he was like a toothpick,
twig.
He was like a twig, but that allowed him to be so fucking fast. And then when he kind of transitions to Madrid, like in his mid-20s,
Bulked up.
he bulked up, but maybe to his detriment. And then hearing the boos, understanding that like, shit, they don't love me as much as they did back home. I think it just kind of compounded. Like both his physical aspect and then obviously the mental aspect just did not go Gareth Bale's way at all. Because yes, he still was a pacey player, but he used it a lot less. And I mean a lot less. He became a much better passer, I would say, at Madrid, but he still had the pedigree to penetrate. He just did it way less. Because at Tottenham, he was just 100% all the time. And then he kind of changed his game at Madrid, and also maybe that played to the fact that he just maybe didn't like the tactics as much. I don't know.
It's funny. We talked about Joao Felix last time about should he leave Atletico?
Yeah.
And the take you had back then, I think, is going to be the same take that you're going to respond with in regards to this piece of news, which is he is being loaned out to Chelsea for, I believe, 10 plus million for just 6 months. But he's being loaned out to play in the Premier League and is just going to be added to that already deep attacking front that Chelsea has with just numerous options for them to play with. Joao Felix is joining that, and I'll truly be interested to see how he performs in this setting.
Yeah, he's going to look good in blue. I'll definitely say he's going to look really good in that Chelsea blue. But yeah, my sentiment remains the same. The Felix experiment at Atletico has been weird. It just hasn't worked. And it's been underwhelming, but on both ends. Player end, and I think just coaching staff end with Diego Simeone and the way that he likes to play. What's frustrating, though, is that Simeone does like free playmakers. I think Griezmann is a perfect example of that. Griezmann played his best football actually under Diego Simeone back between 2014 and 2017. So who's to say why Felix couldn't have that same type of success? The problem is that Felix, I think, was just so young, and he had such a big price tag. I think neither coach nor player knew exactly what he was supposed to do on the pitch. Because Griezmann, when he came to Atletico, he was a playmaker, but he also was a good finisher. What was Felix at Benfica? He was good at finishing. Was he a good dribbler? Was he a good passer? He kind of was, but it wasn't his main style of play like Griezmann when he came to Atletico. So I think Felix himself had to figure out what did he want to be really good at on the pitch. Because yes, he has really good skill and he's really good on the ball, and he's cheeky. He's a flair type of player, really sneaky and just a good dribble penetrator in general. But what did Simeone want?
Yeah.
What did he want a dribbler? He already kind of had that in Carrasco, but the thing is with Carrasco is that he does that defensive duties. He's a wingback. Felix ain't no wingback. He's not supposed to defend, but Simeone likes his wingers to defend and his central guys to kind of roam. That's why I think Griezmann worked out, because Griezmann's a central player all day long,
hard.
whereas Felix is just supposed to be an out-and-out winger, and that just didn't work for Simeone. What's frustrating, though, is that there was a moment in time where I did think, where I did believe that Felix was going to figure it out. That he was just going to be like, look, Simeone, I'm not going to defend, but it's because I can score 20 goals a season. Yeah. And if he did do that, Simeone would have conceded. He'd be like, all right, fuck it. You don't have to defend because you're just banging in goals for us. But he just never did. And he missed some big opportunities. He got injured. I remember, I think a year and a half ago that kept him out for a couple months. That did not help at all. And it's just been hard for him to get consistent minutes or to play consistently well for Atletico. So for all of those reasons, man, I'm actually glad he's going, not for Atletico, but for Felix himself.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
He's been here for 3.5 years now.
Yeah. And if anything, I think he's going to thrive in the Prem, bro.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be an incredible player, just breaking lines, being so tough to deal with. I remember in the Champions League when he did face off against Premier League teams, he faced off against a really good Man City team. I think just last season or last year or 2 seasons ago in the knockout stages, and he was a menace, dude. He was causing so many problems to that defense and that midfield, just constantly on the attack. So hard to get when he gets a little bit of speed behind him. He can just get past you. He's so nimble, and then he's very smart as well if he has those attacking options. But like you said, I think the responsibility given to him at Atletico wasn't the right responsibility, and he just wasn't ultimately utilized in the way that maximizes his talents the best. So good for him. Do you think that after this loan spell ends that he'll be looking for somewhere to go, or do you think he'll continue his time at Atletico?
You know, there's actually rumors that the only reason that he's going for 6 months is because Simeone might get sacked come the end of the season, or they're already planning that they're going to go separate ways.
Wow.
So he's like, okay, I don't excel under Simeone. Let me go play my football somewhere else. Let me develop well as a player. And by the time I'm back, I'll be under someone who could actually push me and make me the player that I'm supposed to be.
Dang, that'll be really interesting if Simeone ends up, I guess, either getting sacked or just leaving by mutual consent, whatever it is at the end of the season.
Damn,
that'll be really, really interesting, because that's another thing that's just frustrating in general, is that not only just for Simeone, but Atletico as a squad have been on the decline for 5 years now. And Felix joined them right at the start of that decline. So as a player, you're trying to up your game slowly year by year, but the whole squad that you're on is declining year by year. So it just didn't work out on all fronts.
He's falling with them, yeah.
Yeah, he's falling with them. And I know it's really trust me, it's fucking frustrating. I think for everybody that's Atleti involved. So again, I'm really glad he's going, and whether he comes back or not, I think it'll actually just depend on the coaching situation, but also if he has a good time. And I don't even mean by scoring a lot of goals at Chelsea, but if he's just freer, doesn't have to do as much defending, is just able to express himself, kind of like we saw for Portugal at this World Cup. If we see that type of version of Felix, he's not going to want to go back. He'll beg for any other move to either maybe a bigger Spanish team or just another Premier League team, or maybe he stays at Chelsea if he ends up doing really, really well.
With two derbies happening, with Manchester United facing off against Manchester City, man. Yeah, let's get a little excited here. Yeah,
last game that they faced was insane. It was a joy to watch for any neutrals. It was the Man City destroying them. I think it was like 6-2 in total.
That was the last time?
I think that was the last time they faced each other. The first time in the Premier League this season.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So that was pretty fun to watch. I hope the same thing happens.
I think that Manchester United is coming into this game as well as they've ever been, like in the past 3-4 years.
Yeah. Rashford's going off.
Yeah.
Rashford, and he's the thing is, we finally saw him have really good performances with England in the World Cup, and he hasn't stopped that. Dude, he's so lethal in front of goal, and I think we're finally seeing, hopefully, the Rashford that was supposed to be at United like 2 years ago. He's been talked about so much, but he's always slightly underwhelmed. But his finishing this year, man, has been top notch.
Yeah, he's incredible.
So if he can get in front of goal, I think United will have a chance. Overall, I think it's going to be obviously a really feisty affair. United really are in such good form right now. Maybe the Ten Hag effect is finally taking over United.
I would love to
see
that.
He's finally imposing his coaching tactics on this team. And not only that, more importantly, though, I think the players are actually believing in it. And I think that's been the biggest problem for United's team for the longest time, man. They go through so many weird spells with coaches, and usually it just ends with them mutinying against the coach. But finally, it seems like Ten Hag, even though he had somewhat of a shaky start, not even that bad, I think the people are finally getting behind him just fully.
I hate to be that guy, but a certain player left, and maybe that's why helping them now. You know, there's no pressure, there's no drama behind the scenes. Now everybody's playing at their best. They are in a pretty good form right now. They won today. And I mean, they're definitely a lot better now than they were last time when City beat them.
Yeah.
So,
they'll be the underdogs, so you should bet on them.
I'm done with betting.
Obviously, now here gambling, man. But still, Man City is Man City, and they're coming off of a 4-0 trashing of Chelsea.
They killed them, man.
Good God, man.
Killed them.
Buried them in the
one-sided
dust.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Incredible.
So we could very easily see Manchester City just come out on top in this game and fully remind Manchester United of who's the best team in the region.
The thing is, though, regardless of what's at stake for United, City have to win this game.
There's a good
They
title.
have to win this game. Not for United, but for Arsenal, man. They have to keep up that title race. Any loss of points, man, is going to be super detrimental. And that goes for Arsenal too, man.
Yes.
So City, take away the emotions of this game. Anything but a win is a complete failure for them if they're going for the title.
Most tense Manchester derby in a hot minute. I completely agree. And likewise, Arsenal will be facing off against Tottenham. Manchester City predicted to win that matchup 71% to 29%. We're going to move on to the next game. Arsenal versus Tottenham. So Arsenal will be facing off against a feisty opponent as well, where they have to play their best to be able to get the result. Who wins this one, boys? Who wins this one? Arsenal coming in hot, leading the Premier League table right now, and having Man City on their back by, I believe, 7 points right now. But what do you guys envision happening here?
I'm gonna go Arsenal. I love watching teams that not only get their results but also play beautiful. So it's been a joy watching this Arsenal side just keep on being in the top of the table. So I hope it continues.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Arsenal have been phenomenal this year. The thing is, even though they did get that draw against Newcastle about a week ago, other than that, they have not really showed any signs of slowing down, no matter who they've really faced. Now, of course, they haven't faced Man City yet. But I think this game against Tottenham, honestly, I think Tottenham is disappointed this season. Yeah. Richarlison has he even scored realistically in the Premier League for Antonio Conte? He hasn't worked out. Yves Bissouma's barely gotten any playing time, man. I think Heung-min Son's just having an interesting year. Not bad. Kane's good. Kane's actually really good this year. But it's just not enough, And I argued that at the beginning that when you compare Tottenham's midfield to Arsenal's midfield, there's just no creativity really in Tottenham's. And I think it's really showing, especially if you're trying to win games over a 38-game season, man. You need players who can craft something out of nothing. Players that can penetrate, break lines. Every single outfield player for Arsenal that's not in that back four can go past a singular player, any player in the Premier League. I can't say the same thing for Tottenham. So I think it'll be a feisty affair, but I think I'm definitely favoring Arsenal in this one, and I think most people should too, man, because Arsenal are trying to do something special this year, and you really should get behind it. I'm so excited to see what they can do, and I just pray to God that they keep it up.
Yeah, I'm going Arsenal here, but I actually want to highlight a player that has stepped up in the absence of Gabriel Jesus. Nketiah? Nketiah, man. He's really surprising me because the moment I found out the news piece about Jesus being out for like 2-3 months or a long time, I was like, fuck, dude. Is Nketiah good enough to fulfill that gap that is needed? And it's clear that Arsenal does need that player up top to finish all those opportunities that they're able to create. And so far, in both the Premier League and the I believe it's the FA Cup. He's been able to step up and doing well, getting a brace in the FA Cup, coming into this big match in really good form. I wonder if he'll get the start, but if he does, I could see it being because of Arteta having that confidence in him now to deliver for him when it's needed. Yeah. So
it's going to be interesting because whenever you lose at Gabriel Jesus, you're not only losing goals, you're losing everything else that he creates. He's been a good chance creator. But I think Nketiah has that in him. Because for the game that you brought up, whenever he scored a brace, he only had two. We need to bring up. He only had 2 chances to score a goal, and in those 2 he converted. But not only is he a great finisher, but I think he can fulfill that Gabriel Jesus role. Maybe not as good as him.
Maybe not as good, but
just
enough.
Hold him off until Gabriel Jesus comes back. But I think he's the guy to do so.
I love it, man. The Premier League title race is going to be at the forefront this weekend, and that's already so fun. Yeah. And I love that it's Man City who's chasing it now. We'll get to see Man City. Yeah, I love it. See who they're truly made of with this. Haaland on pace for 40 fucking goals. Can you imagine
Haaland goes on to score the 35, 40 goals and he still doesn't win
the
Dude,
that would be crazy. That would be insane. That would be insane. So that's it, man. We're going to be signing off. You want to plug your socials or anything? Promote yourself to the people. I know you don't like doing it, but I'm going to force you to do it.
Is that my camera?
That's it.
All right. Well, I'm Agustin from Debatable Football Opinions, mostly on Instagram, but I'm also pretty much on YouTube and TikTok. I believe it'll be Debatable FO. So, yeah, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, those 3 sites, you'll find me there. And,
all right. Thank you for being here once again, man. You always come through for us in this clutch. And thank you for the jersey to Soltero.
No, honestly, thank you.
I tell you can keep it, right?
I don't know if I want this one, man.
He's going to be wearing that shit for 9 more shoots. 9 more shoots.
Or whatever you want, you can keep it going.
I could.
It might be. Yeah, I might get comfortable with that
It
shit.
kiss the badge, yeah.
You gonna wash it at all? Or you just gonna keep it?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, man.
All right, man. That's it for us. We'll catch you guys soon.